All right. Well, Keith, we sorry about those technical difficulties.
Not a problem.
Anybody who's listening, you're listening to Last Stop here on WWEC 88.3 FM, Sound of Elizabethtown. Adam and I have been. There must be a ghost in here.
And seriously, this is our first call. I think we just got really excited, and when we jumped up, we just knocked everything over because the entire desk is wet. Carl's phone got stuff spilled on it 4 times. My hands are all sticky. And the paper towels and Steinman don't do anything. They're cutting the budget, man. We only have 1 microphone. Sorry. I'm sorry. And all the listeners.
But Keith,
Not a problem.
You are from the band Shame out of Reading.
Yep.
You yourself are from the Lancaster area, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
I live in Lancaster County, and the band's from Reading. And, I joined the band about 7 years ago, and they were going pretty strong a few years before I joined. So,
how many years has the band been together?
the band, Shame has been a band for over 10 years, probably about 11 by now. And I joined in the spring of '01.
Okay.
So I've been with them for about a little over 7 years.
And how did the band first get started?
Well, the band first got started with our singer, Pete, and our drummer, Brian. The initial seed of the band, so to speak, was basically just them being friends in middle school and up into high school, and just getting together in the basement and just jamming on, at the time that was the big budding scene of the 90s modern rock with Pearl Jam and all those great bands, Nirvana and Alice in Chains, things like that. So they would basically just listen to music and jam on their favorite songs and just started writing their own songs. And actually when the band first started to get going in their late years of high school, as they started to go into college, while they were still in high school, though, there was actually quite a buzz about Shame. Apparently there were some labels sniffing around Reading. And it was mainly just due to the buzz, everybody talking about them. Wow, these kids are young. They're writing great songs at like 17, 18 years old. And just been going strong ever since. And I was fortunate enough to join in, like I said, 2001.
How did they find you, or how did you find them?
Well, what happened was, and actually it's an interesting Elizabethtown connection here as far as this story, because a stone's throw away from your studio lives one of my best friends. His name is Brad. He may actually be listening right now if he didn't yet fall asleep. But he and I have been best friends since little kids, like 5, 6 years old. And the reason I ever even heard of Shame is that Brad was a big fan when kind of that initial stage when there was a big buzz about Shame when they were young. And I would be in Brad's car, and we would ride around, and he had this cassette, if you've ever heard of a cassette.
I think I have, once or twice.
Okay.
I don't even think, do we? No, we don't have any cassette players in here. But I have heard of them once upon a time.
Okay, just checking. But Brad had this cassette tape, and we would ride around in his car and listen. He's like, man, you got to come see this band. So he finally dragged me out to Reading, which back then seemed like it might as well have been Massachusetts. But now to me it's a stone's throw because I'm up there all the time. I feel like I might as well move there. But Brad and I went to a show, and I saw these guys for the first time play live. I was like, wow, they were really great songs, real nice guys, real friendly to talk to. And I became a fan, really. And I was in a band in the late 90s that was in the Lancaster area called, now I'm going to pronounce this properly here, Jack Shift, S-H-I-F-T. So I don't want to get kicked off the air here.
You're fine.
We were called Jack Shift.
It's after 10 o'clock.
Oh, okay. I can really say whatever I want?
Not quite.
No, my mama raised me right. I won't swear on the air.
Okay.
But, where was I? Jeez, that's a long story I'm telling. Oh, yeah, so...
So Jack Shift.
Jack Shift, yeah. So I was in that band. We did, like, classic rock covers, and we did our own stuff, and it was really cool. It was a lot of fun. And that band ended around the time that Shane was looking for a bass player.
Okay.
So getting back to Brad, who is down the street, hopefully listening to all this, I called Brad. I said, oh, man, Jack Shift is breaking up. He said, well, Shane's looking for a bass player. I was just on their website the other day. So I called up to Pete, the singer, and I knew him. We'd actually played some shows together, our two bands, from back in the day. And went up to Reading and auditioned and got the gig. I've been doing it ever since.
Cool. And that was 7 years ago, you said?
Yeah, yeah.
Now, you talked a little bit about the influences, like Pearl Jam especially. I know, for any listeners who don't know, my band, For the Greater Good, actually, they are the guys who have Fresh Valley Studios, and they are the ones that recorded our album. And when we went there, you know, the posters and stuff, there were a lot of Pearl Jam posters. I know they're a pretty big influence. What other main influences do you guys have?
We have varied influences. There's different members of the band that have different influences, but then there's some common ground that we all agree on. Probably one of the biggest influences across the board for all four of us would be the Counting Crows.
Oh, okay.
Now, our style now, some of the newer, like the brand new songs that you're going to play later on, kind of a little bit more of an edge to it. We're leaning more towards that, but some of our older stuff definitely has more of a Counting Crows type feel to it. And I don't know if you've heard their latest album, but it's amazing.
Yes, it's a really great album.
They're back. They're back in a big way.
Yeah.
So, you know, I personally myself, you know, I'm a huge Beatles fan. I know our guitar player Mike is also a huge Beatles fan. I like, you know, Radiohead, different bands like that. I'm big into Death Cab, some of the newer indie rock like Kings of Leon, that sort of stuff. Our singer Pete, you know, he's influenced by a lot of the same things. He's getting into more of the newer music lately, but also, you know, Pearl Jam is his hugest influence. Counting Crows as well. The early live stuff, of course. You know, four guys from a small town in Pennsylvania that took over the world for a while as far as music. I mean, how can that not influence you if you're from a small town in Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
But those guys, particularly their early work, is just outstanding. And we, you know, like I said, we all have different influences, but we usually come back to, you know, some of that early stuff. Train, we like the Train stuff, and you know, those types of bands have influenced us along the way. But I think now we're listening to some of the newer things and trying to get some influence from bands like, you know, Death Cab, Wilco. Wilco is a big influence as of late. So.
What's one of the? I mean, I know you guys are very big and with your original material, and you guys do a great job of music writing. But as far as covers go, what are some of your favorite covers to do?
As far as the covers, which, by the way, segue, if you want to hear some of the covers and originals, you can come out to Quip's Pub in Lancaster this Saturday night at 10 p.m.
Yeah.
All the information is up on our website, which is
we're actually on
music.
Yeah, we're on it right now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's good. That's good.
I'm sorry. I'm just so programmed to plug all these different things.
No, that's great. That's great. We'll do all that. But what are some of your favorite covers?
Oh, back to your question. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
The favorite covers we do. Well, back to the Counting Crows. Honestly, we probably do like 3 different Counting Crows songs.
Okay.
We do. Let's see. We do some of the early classic rock, like Steve Miller Band, Tom Petty, Van Morrison. We do some of that fun, you know, kind of get people going at the bar, or get them up and dancing, that sort of stuff. We actually do live. We do Selling the Drama by Live. Trying to remember offhand.
That's a good list.
We actually do a lot more originals than we do covers.
I knew that.
Yeah.
I just was kind of curious as to like what's one of your favorite, like what's your favorite cover to play?
Probably the Counting Crows stuff.
Okay.
I mean, those are kind of our heroes. So
right.
we do a couple of their songs. We do Mr. Jones, of course, gets people going, and we do Long December. And
right, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the studio. Just give the listeners a brief background of what you guys, the project that you guys are taking on there.
What we're doing with the studio, and actually, I'm glad you mentioned your band, because if you didn't, I was going to. But your band, For the Greater Good, a terrific band out of E-Town. You guys should be proud. You guys were actually our first project, and you came in there and got a nice 5-song EP out of that. I've heard it. I think it turned out really well. Mike Newman did a great job on the mix.